The Nkomazi Plaza is the gateway to the beautiful area of Malelan, situated on the N4 toll route, which is managed by Track, and it proved to be a very busy route as competitors and spectators alike headed to the Nkomazi 400, the second leg of the Donaldson Cross Country Championship. Before racing got underway, the drivers first put their vehicles on display for all to see, a procession of cars driving through Malelan, much to the appreciation of the townsfolk. With me is Leanne Pollock. Leanne, impressive scenes.
Hi there, Derek. Well, spectacular scenes, and you don't get much better than the surrounding areas of the town. The farms in the region produce sugarcane, subtropical fruit and winter vegetables. The origin of the name is disputed, but either the expression Mlalani, which means place of the palms, or the expression Lala, which means to sleep, are accepted origins of the name.
With the procession done and dusted, it was back to Riverview Preparatory School for the final touch-ups before racing got underway.
One of the men preparing for the event was Force Fuel Ford's Rowan Lamb, new to the super production vehicle class.
Rowan, I'm looking behind the beautiful Ranger there. Big step up from Class E.
Yeah, it's a huge step. We did all right last year, and we joined the Force Fuel team this year. So it's going to be a big learning curve for us this whole year, and we hope to improve our position race by race.
It's not just the car, but it's the fact that last year you're almost like a one-man show. This time around, what's it like working in a massive team?
No, it's great. Everything's so well organized. The guys are dynamic. They sort everything out for us. Basically arriving and everything's done for you. We'd run around with spanners. Now we can sort of sit back and relax a bit.
You actually couldn't ask for more.
Exactly, yeah.
Now, obviously this is new to the calendar, but having a look at the surroundings, excited for Malelani?
Yeah, I am. It's unknown territory, a new race for everyone. So sort of going to be equal grounds. We hope to do all right. But as I said before, we're going to just try it out and get used to the car. It's left-hand drive, different class. We don't know what the competition's like, so we're going to do our best.
It certainly was a tough few days for Lamb and his co-driver Lyle Parker. They finished in 42nd place in the prologue in a time of 1 hour, 22 minutes and 26 seconds. While the race itself proved to be even more difficult, as the pair failed to reach the checkered flag and they bowed out of the race.
Force Fuel had another fairly new team in Tony and Michael Gouveia, who had made a big step up from regional racing last year.
Having a look around, you come from the regionals. What's it like in terms of atmosphere now that you're in the nationals?
Well, it's awesome. We did race regionals and nationals together. But yeah, the professionalism in this national event is amazing.
We look at this place, obviously it's new to the calendar, Malelan, but having a look around, excited for what you're going to come up with?
Well, the pits, everything, the layout is brilliant. We can't fault it. It's amazing. The facilities they've got here is awesome. And I'm looking at the track and it just looks like excitement over and over again.
Toughest competitors in your class?
Yeah, there's some boys that have been doing it for many, many years. So we're just going to stay on the track and see where we end up.
Well, they certainly did stay on the track, finishing in 8th place in the special vehicle category in their Bat Spec 0.
Former South African champions Chris Viss and Yapi Bardnos made a turnaround for Ford Racing in the production vehicle category. After coming second in Makali's, the pair went one better this time round in the Nkomazi 400. They finished second fastest in the prologue and started 1 minute and 40 seconds behind Friday's winners Christian de Ploy and Henk Janssen van Vieren, who were in their RFS BMW X3. But they tore up the track to claim victory, finishing 1 minute and 43 seconds ahead of the Atlas Copco pair of Gary Berthold and Siegfried Rousseau.
Berthold was treated by race medics for dehydration after the prologue, but managed to recover as he and Rousseau secured second place in their Toyota Hilux. The pair experienced some other trouble along the road, but it wasn't enough to stop them getting a place on the podium.
Rounding off the top three and coming in 34 seconds later was the Team Castrol Toyota duo of Duncan Foss and Rob Howie. Following their disappointing outing at the RFS 400, where they finished 10th, the South African champions fared far better at the Nkomazi 400, overcoming punctures and the like to place third.
After a hectic battle on the second loop, the other Team Castrol Toyota team of Anthony Taylor and Dennis Murphy came in fourth. The pair did phenomenally well, overtaking 5 cars on their way to finishing 2 minutes and 51 seconds behind their teammates.
Completing the top 5 was the Atlas Copco Toyota Hilux of Johan van Staden and Mike Lawrenson, with van Staden continually describing the route as awesome.
Malcolm Koch and Johan Berger in their Toyota Hilux had a superb run, gaining at least 6 places during the first loop on their way to finishing, coincidentally, in 6th place.
While the Ford Ranger of the Rubicon Racing pair of Lo de Brain and Rian Quayling had seen better days, the team did manage to finish 7th.
Regent Racing's Michael Whitehouse and Matthew Carlson had problems with their Nissan Navara's diff, but they managed to limp home.
And not far behind them was another Regent Racing outfit, this time the celebrity pair of Archie Rutherford and Roxy Lowe. Lowe's first foray into navigating certainly wasn't a fruitless one, as the team surprised many to finish inside the top 10.
Claiming 10th spot was a third Regent Racing team of Thomas Rundle and Joan Moore. They experienced fuel problems throughout the second loop, with Moore even forced to cool the fuel pump down with a wet cloth. A horrible experience for them, and to make matters worse, they had no clutch throughout the prologue, so full credit to them for making it to the finish.
Finishing just outside the top 10 was the Rubicon Racing pair of Gerald LaRue and Henrik Badenhorst in their Ford Ranger.
The Leiths, Graham and Trevor, after finishing 12th in the prologue, kept their same position to the end in the Transcorp Ford Ranger.
Hugo de Brain and Henry Hugo came home in 13th place in a time of 8 hours and 15 minutes in the Micron Toyota Hilux.
3 minutes behind them, and the last team to complete the race were newcomers Jacques and Lizelle van Tonderd in a Unifreight Ford Ranger.
It was a race to forget for prologue winners Christian de Ploy and Henk Janssen van Vieren. The unfortunate pair hit a mud patch in their RFS BMW X3 shortly before the compulsory 15-minute halfway stop and rolled out of the event.
We lost the lead about halfway into the loop. We lost our wipers and we struggled with visibility there in the fog. And Chris passed us, and then when it started to get dry again, we caught up to him. And just about 1.5 k's from the end, because of the muddy windscreen, we couldn't see, and we hit a puddle on aquaplane, and the car just flicked around and onto its roof to the sugarcane. And now it's not viable to put the new windscreen in. It's going to take too long, so yeah, we're going to call it a day.
De Ploy and Janssen van Vieren weren't alone. They were joined on the sideline, so to speak, by the Ford Racing team of Lance Woolridge and Ward Huxtable. Last month's winners were forced to retire after their Ranger experienced electrical problems at the halfway stage.
Also out was the Regent Racing team of Terence Marsh and Gerard Skitter. Their Nissan Navara's suspension broke 20 k's before the DSP, bringing an end to their race.
Regent Racing's Jürgen and Daniel Schroeder finished 16th in the prologue, but were unable to make it to the end in their Nissan Navara.
While Jannie Vis and Joks LaRue also failed to complete the race in their Toyota Hilux.
Henny de Klerk and Johan Smallberger's LA Sport BMW X3 experienced a number of problems, including 2 flats, as they were also forced to bow out.
While the Trisom Racing Toyota Hilux of Dion Fent and Ian Palmer couldn't quite make it to the end.
So a terrific result for Visser and Badenhorst, capturing first place to climb to first in the championship standings on 44 points, 13 clear of Berthold and Rousseau, while Koch and Berger share third spot with Woolridge and Huxtable.
We're now second in the championship, so it's a great place to be in, considering. And with a new car coming, big decisions to whether to race the next car, the new car at the next race, or this one.
Elegant Fuels, Quinton and Cully Silvalt are racing in a Bat Venom, which they bought from Evan Hutchison, the vehicle he built for himself for the 2013 season.
Ourselves and Motorites have won the championship the last 7 years, so obviously a big battle between the two of us, friendly rivalry, but that's always good. Motorites are a fantastic team, they put out a good effort, so we're hoping to try and match them this season.
There's no doubting that the competitive streak runs through the family. Quinton started navigating for Father Cully in 2008, and since then they have 2 SA titles to their names. Quinton took over driving duties in 2012.
Team orders are for Formula One teams. We go out and we race as hard as we can for as long as we can. So hopefully the car lasts to the finish and we can get a good result for Elegant Fuel.
The Donaldson Cross Country Championship has grown from strength to strength. Entries per event are always around the 60 mark.
To see so many new cars, new faces, and obviously bringing in new people and new sponsors to the events is something that I'm really excited about, and I'm sure everybody involved in off-road racing, or what is now called as cross-country racing, is really excited about the future of the sport and looking forward to growing with it.
From productions to the specials, Magaliesburg saw the Dirt Sport Components team of Clint Gibson and Gary Campbell grab their debut win in their Porter, but the competition promised to be fierce on foreign terrain.
Herman and Richard Silvald from Elegant Fuel were out in the old Porter and with a first Class A car home.
Silvalds have a long pedigree of racing, with brothers Hammond and Cully competing together for many years. They finished second in their Bat Venom.
Last month's victors, Gibson and Campbell, were finding things far more difficult this time round. The duo finished third in the prologue, and that's the way things stayed as they just missed out on a podium.
Motorride Racing's Nick and Brian Harper finished fourth in their Bat Venom. Not bad, considering that Brian described the race as awful, having suffered from motion sickness.
Motorride Racing's Evan Hutchison and Donnie Stassen had a tough time of things in their Bat Venom.
Little problem with the gearbox shifter that broke in the first lap, and they can't fix it at the moment, so it's waiting.
Glenn Gibson and Clint Brook had a far better run in the second loop on their way to a 6th place finish.
Almost every competitor described the route as being extremely tricky, and that certainly proved to be the case with the Bat Spec 4 of Marius and Jolanda Fourie as their race came to an end during the first loop.
Baie lekker, baie rof daar buitekant, glad. En ja, baie rof daar buitekant. Dis 'n gladde baan. Baie mooi koppe.
Does it seem like they're out?
Ja, ons is uit nou. My enjinkie die eerste piston of 'n bearing gebreek, so ons gaan maar eerder die enjinkie spaar en uittrek.
Another pair that couldn't reach the flag was Botswana-based Mogri Mobile, in only his second year of national championship cross-country, and experienced navigator Zelda Niemand when their Porter's front brake disintegrated 30 k's into Loop 1.
Another father and son pair of Nardus and Louis Alberts in the Raps of Bat were also casualties in Loop 1 when the back wheel of their Bat broke off.
Newcomers Philip de Vries and Johan Viljoen in the Conqueror Porter, despite setting a great prologue time, slid down the side of a mountain in Loop 2, putting pay to their charge.
The Agazzi brothers from the DRC also failed to finish.
Despite finishing third in Class A, Gibson and Campbell keep hold of first place in the championship with 40 points. Hutchison and Stassen are 10 adrift on 30, while the Silvalds, Quinton and Cully are third with 26. Just 1 point clear of the other Silvalds, Hammond and Vichart.
Great to have both the cars on the podium. When we had our discussions this year with our sponsors, they actually said that they've got this in the back of their heads, that this year might be the year that we can end up both on the podium. And well, for the first race, after we've had our commitment again from Elegant Fuel, we both on the podium, and that is great for us, for a team, and I think for them as sponsors as well. So we are very pleased with the result.
One of the new teams in this year's championship saw the Zealy brothers link up with Neil Mayer and Joseph Lewis, a case of pooling resources and improving efficiency.
Daniel, firstly, having a look around, compared to last year, a much bigger setup.
Neil Mayer and myself, Daniel, have decided to join forces, and we were lucky enough that both Max's and Liqui Moly has started supporting our team. And in addition to that, Rockstar has also joined our party, if you'd like to call it that. And we talked to all our sponsors and guys in the industry who supports us, and we decided to join all the forces and see whether we cannot, lift our level of competition and provide an additional input to our sport. So yes, you know, a lot more effort for sure, but hopefully it shows at the end of the day.
Well, you say new. I think it's safe to assume new and most definitely improved.
Absolutely, yeah. We've spent a lot of effort on the cars. Our technical team has improved their level of performance significantly. And obviously we don't want to share too much with regards to what we've done to our vehicles, but it's existing vehicles which we've been running for quite a few years. News cars are a lot newer than mine, but we are very happy with the performance, and obviously we have to stay on track like everybody else, but we hope to see the dividends after all the efforts over the Christmas season.
It wasn't exactly the dividends they wanted, as the Zeelies came home in 9th place in their Maxxis Liqui Moly Rockstar Porter in a time of 7 hours, 28 minutes and 6 seconds.
The other Maxxis Liqui Moly Rockstar team of Neil Mayer and Joseph Lewis finished in 14th place in their Zarco Challenger in a time of 8 hours, 32 minutes and 51 seconds.
It certainly is a growing trend in the Donaldson Cross Country Championship, where teams are joining forces and pooling their skills and talents in an effort to be better, stronger, and of course, most importantly, faster.
Let's catch up with Makanetti brothers Andrew and Keith.
Andrew, firstly, how's the car?
Well, we shall see. We haven't had a chance to test. We basically finished yesterday. And so it's really just going to be an opportunity just to take the car out and to go for a nice stroll on the road.
And how are you enjoying being back in a car? I mean, it was a year off, enjoying it?
Yeah, nearly a year and a half off from not being behind the wheel, but I've been co-driving for the last 2 years, but it's great to be back. I'm really much looking forward to driving.
Now, you used to navigate for your brother, who is, of course, now one of your rivals. What's that been like?
You know, I'm not even looking at it as a rivalry. The main thing is first I must get to the finish. I had a couple of roly-polies in the past, so I'm trying to avoid those first of all.
Who's a better driver?
We shall see. The season is long.
It was a difficult 2 days for Andrew and his co-driver in the Zarco Magnum, with the driver admitting that no power steering made things very challenging, especially in the mountains.
The pair hit a rock towards the end and ended up sliding down the mountain and out of the race. In Andrew's words, they came, they saw, but did not conquer. You mentioned navigators. You've got a new one.
Yes, a new navigator. I've known him for a long time, so personal friend, so I think that helps a lot so that you can communicate well. So I'm looking forward to naviging with Malusi, and I think he'll enjoy it. It's going to be a new experience for him.
Well, let's go to Malusi now. Malusi, excited?
Yes, I am. It's been a while. The last time I navved, I was navving for Andrew's brother in the Toyota Desert out in Botswana about a year ago. Looking forward to getting back in the passenger seat, so to speak. So, and looking to go out and enjoy it.
A year isn't too long. They say it's like riding a bicycle.
Hopefully, yeah. After, as soon as we get off, I'm sure with the adrenaline, everything will settle back again, and I'll remember what I did about a few months ago. But yeah, it's about getting out there and enjoying it.
From the A's to the P's and B's, and there were many eyes on the Century Property Racing team of Colin Matthews and Alan Smith, who were doing duty in their Century CR3, and the pair were blown away by the event.
Guys here from Malalan Toyota and the community at Malalan have put on such an awesome show for us. It's really such a pleasure to come and race here. We've got awesome facilities here. It's been an awesome event. The route itself yesterday was very, very tricky. It was up, down, left, right. You couldn't back off for a second.
They also blew away the competition. After setting the quickest time in the prologue, they continued the trend in the main race, finishing first in a time of 6 hours, 28 minutes and 32 seconds.
They were followed by the Gouveas, Tony and Michael in their Bat Spec Zero.
While Rob Walk and Jeremy Wood looked to take things rather gingerly in the water, their performance on dry land was far more impressive, coming home in third in their Super Pave Aceco. Rob took over the driving duties this time round, but him and Jeremy do alternate, and you can be sure that next time in Maritzburg, that Jeremy will be behind the wheel.
Almost unbelievably, John Thompson and Maurice O'Matten did manage to reach the checkered flag, despite losing their right front wheel along the way.
The crowd certainly enjoyed their tenacity, as they should. The team finishing in a time of 7 hours, 44 minutes and 4 seconds. Amazingly, they completed 150 Ks on just 3 wheels.
They fared better than Kutsia and Sandra Labuskachny, who were unable to complete the race in their Zarko Light, while it looked as if they had some navigational issues as well.
Nick Gosler and Andrew Massey also couldn't make it to the end in their SA Clinics Zarko Magnum.
It was the same story for John Thompson and James Watson, who too ended with the dreaded DNF.
While Ian McLean and Lucas van Dort experienced a similar story in their Zarko Junior.
A superb race from Matthews and Smith, taking them to the top of the standings, 4 clear of Thompson and Zematin, while Walk and Wood are some distance behind in 3rd place.
One of the new vehicles on display, which attracted a lot of attention from many in attendance, was the side-by-side car. A smaller machine which will hopefully open the door for budding drivers looking to get into the sport at a lower cost. Neil Woolridge put it to the test. Neil, what do you make of the sidecar?
Oh, it's great. I think it's going to be a fantastic entry-level class for next year. You know, we've got to get younger people and new people into our sport, and this what a fantastic way to bring them in. It's good fun, it's relatively cheap in motorsport terms, and yeah, just a great time out there.
It certainly is something that the man in the street could perhaps get into.
100%. You know, there's not many, or if any, cheap forms of motorsport, but if there is, this is one of them. It's somewhere where someone can start off, a young guy or a newcomer to the sport, and come and have a lot of fun at a relatively low cost.
How much do you envisage that it will take off?
I'm almost 100% it's really going to take off. It's taken off in the rest of the world, in the States and in Europe. It's really, really big, and they've taken it to a big step. But we want to try and keep it as tight as possible so that you can't make too many modifications, can't put extra parts on the car, keep it as standard as possible so that it's affordable.
Back to the productions now and the races within a race, the Class D and E's, which includes the local team of Johan and Werner Horn of Malalan Toyota.
Okay, firstly, the Horn brothers, Johan, you excited?
Ja, ons is baie. Dit is ons tuis event. So ons hoop om goed te doen.
Local knowledge of the event, I mean, that must put you in good stead.
Yeah, obviously, we grew up here. We all these routes we did with bikes when we were younger, and we know it. It's our hometown, so we must know it.
Michalis wasn't the greatest outing. Obviously, you can only improve from there, but areas to improve on?
Just finish. That's about it.
The pair certainly set the pace in the prologue, putting up the fastest time in Class D.
Jason Venter and Vincent van Alleman had some very scary moments in their Toyota Hilux. The pair managed to recover well and went on to finish first in the class, doing so in a time of 7 hours, 1 minute and 14 seconds.
Jack and Sorrel Oosthuizen finished just over half an hour behind them in their LMC Land Rover Defender.
They said they just wanted to finish, but it was not to be for the Horns, as they were forced to bow out of the race with a broken clutch.
Dirk Patter and Chris Claessens were superb in their Ford Ranger, coming home in first in Class E.
Venter and van Alleman topped the class with 24 points, but they hold just a slender 2-point lead over the Oosthuizens, with Patter and Claessens leading Class E. A great result for Venter and van Alleman in new territory.
Yeah, for the first time, yeah, it was quite difficult. Your concentration had to be spot on, but yeah, it was lekker.
The same could be said for Patter, who reached the finish line in a time of 7 hours, 14 minutes and 31 seconds.
Ja, dit is wat we vanmorgen gesê het, dis iets wat ons eintlik weer gewoond is nie. maar dit lyk my dit pas die baan. So ons sien regtig uit na Sugar-Belt. Dit gaan 'n lekker reis wees. Dit is 'n event, ons 'n bietjie werk in die pakkie, baie geleer vandag, gesien hoe moet ons in die suikerriet ry. So ons het 'n bietjie verstelling so doen, maar ons is baie uit daarna.
The next event, and the third on the Donaldson Cross Country Championship, takes place at the Beaumont Eston Farmers Club, just outside Pietermaritzburg in KwaZulu-Natal, on the 17th and 18th of May. It's the Toyota dealer Sugar-Belt 400.
The Donaldson Cross Country Championship, brought to you by Donaldson Filtration Systems, a market leader in filtration solutions.